It's been 1 year since Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt and Bahrain imposed a blockade on Qatar, accusing it of supporting terrorism. It's a claim that Doha has strongly refuted. Well, in a special day of programming, Al Jazeera is looking at the causes and effects of the standoff. We spoke to Foreign Minister Mohammed bin Abdulrahman Thani, who says Qatar won't make any compromises, and in particular to the latest reports of threats of military action by Riyadh.
First of all, just let us make it very clear that the purchase of any military equipment is a sovereign decision, which no country has anything to do with. So there is no legitimate grievance behind this letter and threatening Qatar. It's violating the international law. It's violating all the international norms. And the most importantly, it's violating the GCC charter, which is the countries of the GCC should not launch any attack against each other. So we believe that this letter has any legal basis to justify any action. We have been subject to a unilateral measure which was taken by the Saudis, unfortunately, as a reckless behavior from
What do you make of the Saudi claim that it would disturb the balance of power? It represents an escalation for Qatar to obtain the S-400 system.
Well, it's unfortunate that they see this as destabilization because Qatar is not representing any threat for the Saudis. But what most importantly, we have to look at the behavior of the Saudis since the past year, when we see the actions, how it's going in Yemen, or what they have done with the Prime Minister. And recently, the President of France himself, he said that he saved the country, he saved the region from a war by helping in releasing the Prime Minister of Lebanon. So this is something that they've been continuing as a pattern in their behavior.
According to the information you have, do you believe this report in the press that the Saudi king really made this threat? Do you think it's credible? Well,
we are seeking for a formal confirmation from the French government. And
have you received any response? What have they said to you?
The response should be tomorrow.
If it's confirmed, what would your response be to the Saudi king?
Well, we are going to respond legally by, as a response of a country that this is not violating the international law and as a threat for our country, which is not acceptable by the international community.
Does Qatar need to take any defensive military steps in light of this reported threat?
Well, we are going to take all the necessary action to defend our country, but we say
like what? What are you contemplating?
First of all, there is no any serious military threat out of this, but it's the way it's being used to justify or to create any disturbance in the region is just unacceptable. So Qatar is going to treat this the same way we have treated the illegal blockade. We are going to seek all the international fora to make sure that this behavior is not repeated.
Will Qatar go ahead and buy the S-400 missile system, or are you at all rethinking that in light of these reported threats against?
Well, Qatar made all the options open for its defense procurement. So we are seeking the best quality to defend our country, and we have all the options open for this.
So it's possible that you may not need to buy the S-400? Is that what you're saying?
This is subject to the evaluation of the military people. It's not a decision which will be taken in light of a letter of a threat.
So that threat has absolutely no bearing, no political bearing on the decision on whether...
Well, Qatar remained independent country and it's protecting its independence. This will not be subject for any compromisation.